Yo, what's going on, chat? Smiles, back here again with the Standing on Business podcast. Hope everybody had a very good Merry Christmas. Hope you guys get all the gifts you guys wanted, spent time with the family, had a good time. I'm here today, joined by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Villain, aka Whiskey, aka the GOAT admin. He's here with us tonight. How you doing tonight, Villain?
I'm doing great. What's going on, chat? Hope everybody had a great Christmas. I know I did. Spending time with the fam, getting some good relaxation in before we end off this major too. We got a kick-ass last week ahead of us, but before we get to all that, we got to talk about this last little bit of COD here right before our Christmas break.
Yeah, absolutely. Had a little bit of matches. Had a couple of days off, a couple of breaks. So, not that much activity this week in the league. So for today, we're gonna go over the week two recap, go through those matches, power rankings updated, who's up, who's down, top performers, top KD, top five Mike, my favorite subject. It's making its appearance for the second time in a row, and then we're gonna do a little kind of not a recap, but what's it called? A
Preview, little
preview
preview.
of some matches
Yeah.
that we have coming out as we end off, going into the last week right before the major. So let's kick right off into what match number one for week number two was. We're going to go. Well, I lied. Sorry. We're going to standings. Apologies here. So these are your updated standings after 2 weeks of play. Only two undefeated teams left, which are the Gizmos Good Boys and the Guerillas. And then we have two teams that are winless, the Scrim Reapers and the Hollow Knights. So I don't know, Villain, you want a little intake on what you think about some of these standings and these shock surprises or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to a little bit in some of our match recaps going forward. A lot of the teams to highlight are the teams that kind of played. We have two Hollow Knights matches to talk about. They're 0-3 in that Black Division, and that's a pretty rough one. They probably pretty much guarantee themselves a spot in that play-in round on the Saturday. So we're going to be interested to see if they can maybe show up on the tournament day or not. And then I mean, the Guerillas finally played another match, and they look just as strong as they did the first time. And in the blue division, Gizmo's Good Boys, they're looking pretty hot. Not seen anything too bad from them yet. And then I'm really interested to see more of the Goon Squad. They've only played one match so far. I think that's going to be a huge swing in the blue division once they get to their matches too. So yeah, no, the standings look kind of the same as they did last week. Nothing too crazy. Got the Bloodline and Masturbators in that second place spot in each of their respective divisions, and yeah, we're gonna get a lot into more of this in some of our match recaps here.
Absolutely. So I'm reading into the chat. The Scrim Reapers, absolutely. Janji, that's what we're calling them. I've looked in the Discord here and there, seen them scrimming a little bit after their 0-2 start. So excited to see kind of them, see if maybe, Chop's got a little comfortable in the game, see how he's performing, see if they're doing better. And then if my teammate is is a slideshow, hey man, he might be in there. I'm not gonna lie, but let's kick it off to that match number one for week two. It was the Hollow Knights versus the Widowmakers. It was the Battle of Atlanta, is what I was calling it. You had Will, Kurt Lana going up against Flix and Co. I mean, this shit was a hot 3-0. When I match I
Yeah.
cast it, only match that was really entertaining, or the only map, sorry, was that map number two. It was the 1v3, if I'm not mistaken, out of Janzi, round
hmm
11, to kind of really to put that game away and really put the series away. So huge plays out of him. And we got that debate. I mean, Janzi, he's on the PC, he's playing. Look at his numbers. Um,
1.25 KD per series
yes.
on the PC. It
I mean,
kind of
hey, that boy was showing
shows why
out.
it was a slide last week.
That guy with the
Yeah.
cat was showing out. Kudos to him. And Carson. I mean, he did everything he could. Just really not the best performances out of, really Vonsky. I know he's played a little bit better from his first series, if I'm not mistaken, and then Royale, slow series as well. So Hollow Knights really. So what's that? Panic button time as you're sitting 0-3. and pools going into the bracket, but this was a very, very well played match out of the Widowmakers. We had Will there, our MVP, 1.29 on the series. So other than that, I mean, this series was pretty much a shows a
Yeah,
blowout.
I mean, I would honestly really want to highlight Magic, and we'll probably continue to do so as we talk about the Hollow Knights in our next match as well. 0.72 in this first series, and that's a player where I feel like we're kind of seeing like if you get a system behind him, he's like gonna shine a lot. But if you don't have that system there, it's gonna kind of be rough for him. And he's kind of the big standout in terms of performance for that Hollow Knights team. I want to say because if you can get Magic up to like a closer to a 1 KD, I feel like this team might have a lot better chance to at least maybe win a map, win a series. But
Yeah,
yeah, when he's out doing just as good as Vonsky, that's kind of rough.
right. 100%. I agree with that completely. Magic was a really good player last year, and I don't know, maybe he's not comfortable in the game yet, but I completely agree with you there. Maybe needing, a little more support around him to be able to, play at that level and play at his best. But I mean, it's so early on in the year, so anything can change. But yeah, definitely highlight him. Um, the remainder of this split as we go into the bracket and tournament day, and then also just want to keep an eye on James to see how he's performing. I mean, we'll see if this was was he just playing a bad team, or is he that much different on it? Is there that big of a difference going from PC to playing on a PlayStation? So we'll keep an eye on Janzi throughout the split. And yeah, anything else you want to talk about on this one?
No, I agree with what you said. We'll have to keep an eye on the Widowmakers. They do have a couple more matches here in this last week, so have to see how, if they continue to perform on this level.
Absolutely.
But going to our next match here, sticking with the Hollow Knights, talking a little bit about this one. A lot of controversy in this next match, but we're gonna start off with the map one, as you'll see with the score 250 to 228. This is an absolute bang out of a map. I casted this one, and that map one, it was really close. It was like 220, 230, right down to the P4. And crazy last play. Novo gets a 3 with a Hellstorm, and then Carson Flick slides in, gets 3 himself, evens it out, and Hollow Knights end up taking the P4 and the map. But as you can see the note on the slide, some pretty interesting drama as Bracky only played map one of this series. I'm not gonna air it out completely on the podcast. Fuck it, maybe I am. Guy left our league match to go play a CMG tournament, 3v3 S&D. That's kind of crazy in my opinion, but he did make it go long enough to where the map 2 was a 6-0 forfeit for the side of the Hollow Knights. And the Hollow Knights, pretty admirably, they wanted to play. They said, we don't want to win this series via map forfeit. Let's get a sub in here. Let's play this out. And that's what we did. So it doesn't show it on there, but we had King Coney sub in for the Bloodline, and they played it out and ended up being a good sub because the Bloodline took a 3-2 reverse sweep comeback. Pretty bang out of an exposure, 4-3. Another bang out hard point map 4. And King Coney absolutely slammed in that Colossus S&D to help the Bloodline take a 3-2 series lead. And yeah, no, that's a pretty big match for the Bloodline. Makes it 2-1 in the pools for them, which, they were this close to having a 3-0 loss and having to be 1-2 to do a forfeit. And yeah, instead they're 2-1 and looking to maybe even get a higher seed.
Yeah, I'll be honest. This match, one I didn't really tune into. If I'm gonna be completely honest with you, with the delay there, with this going on, I ended up hitting the sheets. But yeah, pretty crazy series. I mean, Bracky tier one dipping mid match, and then them able to come back with King Coney. Kind of really showing good teamwork out of Nova VJs and Co out of there. I mean, CEO Novo, he means series MVP. Kid dropped to 1.6. I mean,
Yeah,
this
absolutely
it's
phenomenal
fucking
performance.
phenomenal. I mean, guy really put his squad on the back. The Greg Jennings meme, broken leg down the sideline. That's kind of what Jake Lane was doing in this performance here. So phenomenal out of him. And then we're just gonna look at Magic, like you said. Keep an eye on him. Almost a 1.0 KD in this series. So much better
Hmm.
play out of him. And then obviously that goes to show like they were able to win that map one. Colossus HP with Bracky beating them. So I mean, maybe Vonsky as well played pretty well as well. So I mean, maybe better teamwork out of Hollow Knights and co. But I mean, yeah, definitely getting mixy with Bloodline, Bracky leaving gets things a little entertaining, things a little spicy. Might have to stay tuned for that. But yeah, Bloodline able to show some resilience there, reverse sweep, as they would go to now. What is that? They would go to 2-1 now, with their only other loss being a 3-0, and then their two wins are game fives. So, um, I mean, yeah, those dogs got some fight in them there.
Yeah, I'm honestly this series in itself makes me really interested to see Hollow Knights in that play-in round on Saturday. Just because if they can get a good performance out of everybody and you have a stat line like you see on this screen, they could honestly send a team to losers bracket if a team doesn't wake up on the right side of the bed and aren't ready to shoot their gun on Saturday morning. So I'm really interested to see if they come out and play like this or if they come out and play like how they did against the Widowmakers when it comes to major time.
Yeah, 100%, and that's all that really what matters coming into that Saturday. I mean, it's who's waking up, who's ready to shoot at 10, 11 o'clock, whatever time the start time is, and Hollow Knights have the ability to maybe ruin somebody's Saturday early on. So maybe a team that can maybe string along a couple map wins to get some comfortability with each other and be ready come major time. So we're gonna
Yeah,
hop on over to the next match, which is going to be the Gizmos Good Boys versus K9s Poison and
man.
Co. Just
What
belt, not really belt, but I mean it felt like the two HPs they lost they should have won. Really felt like Gizmo should have won all these, like should have won the two maps that they lost, in my opinion, casting it. But I mean Cooper dropping a 1.7. Um, I mean this kid's coming up against Mike, playing Mike, getting revenge from Mike actually having a really good performance last year at champs and knocking Gizmos down to losers. And yeah, Cooper, remembered all the shit talk Mike said and kept it in the back pocket and came out here frying. I mean, a 1.7 out of him. J Wall, phenomenal series, another 1.0. I know he was up in that 1.36 conversation, if I'm mistaken, before this, but still a very good series out of him. And I mean, King Coney and Hanzo, really, you know, coming up, clearing out the rear. I mean, a point 0.9 and a point 0.8 out of your tier 3 and tier 4. I mean, those are good numbers there. And then on the other side, Isaac's fighting for everything. Mike Desi, yet again, 0.85, another stinker from him. Cloudsy's, that 0.73 is not horrible. You'll take that. And then, I mean, Too Sweet, we talked about him possibly, the guy that could win the most improved award. Almost had a point 0.9 for him. So, really good series out of him. But yeah, Gizmo's just too good this day to beat him. Really, Cooper is everything 1.7 series MVP as they handle business against the K9s.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to me, this was a banger of a series. Personally, as someone who's watching it, Gizmo's Good Boys in that map one, they had 100-point comeback. K9s were up like 220 to 120 or so, something like, or it's like 200 to 100. And Gizmos came all the way back, didn't end up pulling it out, came down to a P2. So that kind of goes to what you said, like how they really could have won every map. And then that map two, K9s really should have had that. Two Sweet had a 1v3 to make them go up 5-4, and or make them go up 4-3, and they just couldn't, close that map out. And Overload wasn't close. Gizmos kind of slammed there, but then, I mean, K9s, their hard point, they were able to beat Gizmos, who are probably looking like one of the best teams right now in both hard points. So if you're a team playing them on Sunday, that's something to look at. They were able to pull both of those, even with some spotty performances from some of their players. And I mean, the really this series comes down to our series MVP Poison. 14-2 in that map 5 S&D wasn't even close. Clutched up 1v2s, 1v3s, just absolutely slammed in that Scar S&D. And he said, "I'm going to bed. I'm done. We're ending this series right now." And when Poison calls a game like that, there's only so much you could do. Not to glaze too hard, but I mean 14-2 in 7 rounds of S&D. What more can you say?
Yeah, no, I remember that. He dropped the Hellstorm, if I'm not mistaken, in that map. Was on like a 10 spray at one point. But yeah, he called game there. Wasn't gonna lose this series today. I feel like we all knew that going into it. So phenomenal play out of him. But for me, I don't know why, bro. I thought Ham was my series MVP. I mean, the way this guy was playing throughout the series was it was almost inspirational seeing how well he played, especially on the Overload and the Search and Destroy Den. He had really two good maps there, and then had a. I don't think he did anything to map 5. He joked about that in the post game, but yeah, Gizmo's able to beat the K9s as they would go now 2-0, and K9s 1-2 now. So you know, top 5 Mike Isaac, they've won tournaments together, but never won it as the number 1 and number 2 players on their team. Are they going to be enough? Is this team panic? Is it time to hit the panic button for the K9s yet? What do you think?
I don't think so personally. Based on what saw out of them in this series, I feel like they can really put it together. I almost feel like if they end up in one of the play-in matches on Saturday, it might actually benefit them to get a little bit of an earlier start and get a little bit of the shots warm going
Mike's
into
not a
the.
morning guy.
Yeah, I know
Mike's not a
that. That's for
morning
sure.
guy.
But like I don't know. I feel like this team, if you're a team that can win 2 hard points, you really just got to put it together for one more map. And so I think if they can lock in, get the right map sets, get the right vetoes, they can beat any team. It's really going to come down to how they show up on the day. So I wouldn't hit the panic button yet. But they might want to get a little bit more practice, get a little bit more maps under their under their belt. I see that comment in
Yeah,
chat there. Mike work until 5 a.m. the night
yeah.
before.
This team's
Might want to
showing.
might want to have some Red Bulls cold in the fridge,
Yeah,
ready to
nah. This,
go.
this team's over with. As we also had the Christmas classic, whatever you want to call it, on last Sunday,
Oh
and
yeah.
Isaac
Oh
Desi
boy.
went up against each other. I don't know exactly what had happened, but they were playing against each other. Maybe some Phantom GA breaks or whatnot. I'm unsure, but all I know is Isaac's not responding back in the K9's group chat since that day. So maybe a little bit of
Well,
cracks
I
in
have
the wall in the K9's camp over there. I don't know. Isaac,
insider
this is
sources
your time
tell
in
me
chat.
that
What's up?
Sources tell me that Isaac and Mike have come to terms and have made up. So, I think they'll be going into it okay. They do have one more qualifying match, so, maybe they can kind of gel in that one and mend the problems out on the same side in game. But yeah, I think the overclock stun controversy is behind them.
That's what you
Um,
think.
that's
Yeah,
what
that's
at
what you.
least is
That's
what it
what you
sounds
think.
like. I would
This
be very intrigued to see if the K9s end up against the Widowmakers on the major tournament, how that goes. However, it seems to be in the past right now. So
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, this might be like a Crim 6 and Hydra Vanguard situation. I don't know. We'll have to find out. They can say everything's fine out loud, but the gameplay will show. So that's my opinion. Let's see. I'm reading chat really quick. I can't be a fan of GA. Oh
oh
yeah, we
no.
love hearing it. Get it going in the chat there. As we're gonna go into our next series, and it's the man in the chat calling Isaac a woman melt the Guerillas a 3-0 over the Bloodline. Just
Yeah, this was not really close.
nah. I mean, look at Melt.
Nah, no, it's the Gorillas came out, they stomped. Um, Novo only with a .97, which is crazy to kind of point that out, but when you had like a 1.6 the series before, it's a little bit of a difference. And yeah, Crowd 1.5, Melt 1.48. Yeah,
Hey,
that's
look at
so,
Kraken,
so much you can do
almost a
there.
1.2. Give my guy some flowers. I
Yeah,
mean,
you're
that's just
right.
a
I mean,
it's a very good series out of the Gorillas when you look at it on paper. I mean, only map that might have looked close, was the Overload, but every other map, map one, map two, Gorillas really controlled, dominated the, kind of really all the way through. And then Bracky, I mean, he played really well. But Nova and Co. just slow series out of them. So really dominant there out of the Gorillas is, they look to improve and have, the highest win percentage, 86% map percent win, 2-0 record. So, I mean, they're looking really good right now, looking hot.
yeah, no, couldn't agree more. And the Gorillas, interestingly enough, have 2 matches, and I feel like a lot of people would say they might be one of the best teams. So interested to see if they continue that dominance throughout this last week here.
Yeah, 100%. And his Melt, yet again, is he on a PlayStation or did you switch over to console? Or, sorry, other way around.
No, I'm pretty sure he's still on a console, from what I understand. So 2 console players on that team, and Yeah, it's
They
looking
said
pretty
it don't
good.
matter, is what they're saying.
They're saying you don't need to switch. You can stay right here and do just
Yeah,
the same.
Janzi, take notes, buddy. Take fucking notes. As we're gonna hop right on over to now the power rankings. We have some movement really inside that top five, top six. Your bottom
Oh
three
yeah,
teams
a
are
lot of
staying the same. Bottom three are the same. I mean, Hollow Knights, Grim, and K9. Boy, do they stink. Boy, do they stink.
yeah. I mean, I'm a K9 fan. I have some hope for them, but yeah, no, it's I totally understand them not moving at all after that last week. They had that game 5 loss not really showing much different from anything else they shown. I noticed the +4 out of Gizmos there at the top. I mean, I that completely makes sense to me. They absolutely showed out so far in their first 2 matches, and they're looking pretty unstoppable. Um, no
Some
no
big
drama
movement.
yet between the heads on that one.
Yes, a big movement was Cooper. Gizmo's good boys. I don't know what I was feeling. I did cast their match against the K9s. They did get that win, so a little extra dope out of them going from 5 to 1. Guerillas staying there still at number 2, and then I'm getting disrespect for the Widowmakers being at number 6. Boy, man, I don't know, Janzi. It's just you guys didn't look that hot. You looked good one series against a bad team, so we'll see about that. But yeah, I kind of like this power ranking. Goon Squad dropped them a little bit. They didn't play, so I mean, I'm like the CFP. I move people and punish them for not playing, so they're gonna drop from their top spot. And then Fab Four falling just due to masturbators and Fab Four are just falling due to Gizmos jumping up 4 slots there. So really not that much movement. Hopefully this week gets a little more entertaining. As hopefully the Scrim Reapers can maybe jump up a couple spots and put the K9s where they belong around that 9 spot. That would be phenomenal for me.
Yeah, and I mean, I honestly think this is probably a really even list. I think like the squads in the middle are like all like about doing the same thing, and Goon Squad, I think they can really contend with those top 2 teams. But like you said, CFP rules, they haven't played since that first week of comp, so have to see if they can maybe climb the
Yeah.
rankings here right before
They're
the
like Notre
major.
Dame for me. You know what I mean? Like they don't play in a tough conference. They're not really they didn't play nobody. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give credit when
Talk to
people have
them.
played. You know what I mean? If you're gonna just sit there and not play one match, I mean, I can't keep you there. Truthfully, I was back and forth between Gorillas going to 1 and Gizmos at 1. But just for the way that whole Gizmos team is playing currently, I had to give them the shout to number 1 over there. But
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, Notre Dame's a great comparison, but it's also know on the back end of it had some vacations to work with out of a couple players. So I get why they had to, but yeah, no, I don't know if there's a better comparison.
how are we Notre Dame? You ain't Ohio State, buddy. I'll tell you that much. You wish. You fucking wish. But yeah, no. I don't know. I mean, I'm intrigued to actually see like the masturbators play again and the Fab Four. I know Kev was gone on vacation. Unsure why the masturbators were inactive last week as well. But I mean, I'm interested to see these teams play again and see the growth from week 1 to week 3. So you know, hopefully that yet again maybe some upsets happen. Some teams beat some teams they're not supposed to beat, and we get to see some movement.
Yeah, I would love to. I'd love to see some tiebreaker scenarios in these pools here. I mean, doesn't make the job easy for me, but it makes it entertaining for everybody else. So, I'm okay with having the more difficult position on that one.
100%. Because now we're going to go over to the top 6 KDs. A little movement here. Cooper, Flix, Crowder still standing tall there in the top 3. And then we're going to see Nick, 23. He's going to jump up into the 4 slot now. I believe J Wall was
Well,
sitting there before. So he does
yeah,
make
I
the
mean,
jump.
interestingly enough, Nick's still in the top 6 with only one match played. Says shows a lot of movement between like a lot of the top guys, maybe falling down a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. This is the guy that talked everybody into letting him pick later in the draft. Uh, don't know why, but hey, here we are. And then Bracky, a 1.33. let's see how he, see if he can keep that up. See if he can, keep having good performances, even though he dipped on his team. And then Uno sitting there 1.29, just making the cut there. I mean, I'm huge. I was very big on that team coming into the start of the major, and they've really, dropped the big fat shit all over my desk. But I mean, they got some matches to play this week. Maybe get some W's under their belt there. But I mean, any surprises, any shocks, or anything out of you out of this
Um,
top six?
no, I mean Poison like getting up to that top spot of just over Crowd. I think he was at 2 last time. Makes sense with how much of a superstar performance he had in that K9's match. And I mean Flick's edging out Crowda just a little bit also makes sense. I mean he's literally hard carrying in those Hollow Knights matches. So, I kind of expect them up there. Same with Crowda. And I mean Bracky, I really am interested to see if he's a little bit closer to that top four, if he maybe even falls out if he plays the rest of that Hollow Knight series. Um,
Shit, he probably would have gone up.
Yeah, he probably would have. And it's interesting, but he's still at 1.3. He's still on the list, and you know, Uno sliding into that sixth spot. I'm interested to see the Grim Reapers play some more. I think Scrape. We've talked about it with a couple players. Getting their feet under them in Black Ops 7 so far, and I've seen a couple of those guys in the core, not even just playing scrims, but playing eights too. So, interesting to see if they get going, and maybe all them raids helping out Cap Uno over there lock in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I know he did get stuck onto that. What is that, Arc Raider? So I know he's been dipping his feet in over there. But I mean, Tyler's a shooter. He's a grinder. So I mean, he loves his shit, and I'm sure he's gonna be ready come tournament time, and you know probably be ready for their matches this week or sorry, next week. Apologies, and maybe get some W's under their belt. Neurogum is banned.
Just delete the VOD after you use it, though. Oh, brother. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Scumbag material out of Isaac there. That's a shout. As here we are, my favorite subject of the show. Top five Mike. Dropping a .88 through 3 matches. I mean, a 1.0 in HP, which is I. And then it's the shit show. A .68 SND. A .72 Search and Destroy. I mean, this guy is playing some terrible, terrible, terrible Call of Duty as of late. And a guy that was a top, 3 pick in this draft. I mean,
Yeah.
30 years old. I mean, age is a thing. And I think it maybe got to him, Villain. I can't even lie here. I mean, what are your outtakes? I mean, I'm watching Mike. It just looks like he doesn't know what he's doing on the map. He looks like he's struggling. Doesn't seem comfortable on the map at all. And then he's just kind of really still just running around the map, kind of with his head cut off, looking lost. Really struggling. So I think he's a very big key in K9 success, and I just don't think he has it for at least his first major of the year.
Um, you might be able to think of this reference a little bit better than I would, but Mike is reminding me of a Black Ops 6 Optic Gaming player. Comes back in after the World Championship, high
That's AG.
off the win,
It's
and comes out
AG.
Major 1 and just isn't putting it together the same. I mean, they were able to get some things done, later on. So maybe he's gonna turn it up come Major 1 time. But yeah, I mean that .68 S&D KD is pretty notable. I mean, K9's had some close games here in the pool play, and I mean it might be a difference between 1 and 2, and and being higher up in their pool. And shout out our sponsor G Fuel in the chat. Great time to bring that up. Um,
Yeah,
Code family
absolutely.
tie.
Yeah, that's a shout out at Nick. But I mean, he's struggling, and then he's got to work till 5 a.m. the morning before the matches play. I don't think he's gonna have that. Let me just fight through Saturday, be okay, and then get that rest into Saturday to into Sunday and play good. I don't think they're gonna make it to Sunday with the way he's playing. I'm looking over here at the KD ranking and seeing the people that a top 3 pick is currently sitting around and seeing how close he is to being at that like bottom echelon. It's looking scary if you're the K9s. I think maybe it's time for Mike to get up here with me inside the casting booth and just call it. I don't know. This guy needs to figure something out. Cause yeah, it's bad.
Yeah,
See,
for sure.
I don't even see him. He was in the chat earlier. Where'd he go? Where you
Yeah,
at,
I don't know
Cubby?
if we'll be getting a Mike appearance to defend himself this time. He might have dipped from the
I
chat.
mean, it's what's he gonna say? The same thing he said last time we brought him onto the show. He's well, what's he gonna say? He's staying up too late with Jacob, Terry Lane, sitting there on the stake betting app every night, not playing, not getting the reps in. I mean, truthfully, he's really AG in a nutshell.
Oh yeah, and I mean, we've had Family Ties eights running almost nightly in the cord. Pop in if you're a player and haven't in yet. And I don't often see Mike Desi in there. Usually when I do, it is watching or checking in. So
Yeah, maybe
need
he's
to
taking
see Mike
notes.
hop on the sticks. Yeah,
He's
maybe
taking
maybe need
notes.
to
He's
take
trying to
some
do
notes.
something. I don't know, 0.68 KD and a zero point 0.7 KD for two.
He's
Almost average zero point 0.7 between two game modes is not ideal, especially when you pick somebody that high. Kind of reminds me of like a Kev So Juicy stat line from last year, but not as bad. Kev So Juicy going into champs last year, he ended up dropping like a 0.45 and like across the board on that Fab Four squad. Maybe Isaac's system's not good. I don't know. I'm not in the camp, but I mean, obviously something's not working. Is it Mike or is it the system? What do we think,
I don't
boys?
know. You could say the system's not working, but we see improvement almost every match out of two suite. He's having just as good of a KD as Mike is. So, is it the system or is it the player?
I think it's the player. To be honest, I think it's time for him to hang it up, move on. That's my opinion. But enough Mike slanders. We're gonna hop on over to the final matches for the week. So here we go. We got the Gizmo Good Boys, 2 matches left. The same with the Guerillas. Um, Masturbators, Bloodlines, 2 matches, 1 match is left. The Goon Squad, 3 total matches left. Fab Four with 2, and then K9, their last match. I believe that is who their Jacob made these, but I'm assuming who they play. They're playing the ones on top of each other, if I'm not mistaken. Can you confirm that with me, Whiskey Whiskey?
A little bit. This is so if you're a fan of any specific or a player on any specific team, this will tell you how many matches you have left. It'll tell you. It gets a little confusing once you do some crossing over, but we got 9 total matches left this last week, so we're gonna have a lot of action coming your guys' way. We do have Gizmo versus we no, it's this is yeah no this isn't like exactly correct. Some highlights of some matches. Gizmo's Good Boys versus the Goon Squad and Masturbators versus Gizmo's Good Boys. Those are going to be some pretty important matches in terms of Blue League's standings. And then over on the Black Division side, I mean, you got 2 matches for the Widowmakers. You got 2 matches for Fab Four, and the Guerillas have 2 matches left in all that chaos. So a lot of movement could happen still. Hollow Knights only have 1 match left against the Fab Four, and the Fab Four, they were looking pretty decent, but some time off for Kev So Icy there. I'll have to see if they can lock back in and pull something out, or if the Hollow Knights will maybe get 1 win and make things messy. Grim Reapers, they play the Goon Squad and they play what's the other team? And they play the Masturbators. So those are some, I feel like, more like on par matchups going into this last week to see if they can maybe come out with something there as well. Just looking at some of our winless teams, and yeah, no, 9 matches. So it's going to be a pretty busy week. If you're a captain watching this, get your matches scheduled. If you're just on a team and you're watching this, tell your captain to get your matches scheduled. The quicker we get these matches done, the quicker I can get a bracket out to you guys and get hyped for our Major One tournament next weekend, live on this Twitch channel and many of our other affiliated ones, January 3rd and 4th, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Pop in, hit on the streams. We're probably going to have 4 streams live at one point, so a lot of COD action next weekend. And yeah, it'll be a good final week and a good major to come.
Absolutely, and I'm putting the line on the first match starting after 11. By the way,
If
I'm
that's the
pushing that.
case, I will tell you that the timer is starting at 11 o'clock. So if a match doesn't start by 11:15, we're getting map forfeits in, and people won't be too happy. But we ain't got time to play, so if your bet hits, this would be some very unhappy players. I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely. It happens every time. Guys got to run to the, gas station for some energy drinks, coffees. I mean, hell, we've had people have to go to Best Buy to get new controllers, new headsets. So make sure you guys do that all Friday night, the night before. But yeah, I'm really, entertained and really interested in the, last week, 9 matches to play. Um, there's a lot of teams that are up in that top five that still have, 2, 3 matches still up to play. So interested to see on possibly some upsets and some movement there. Like I said, I like when it gets mixy, like going into a major, not knowing what team's gonna win. I think that's the possibility for this major as well. So very interested to watch some of these matches and be able to cast some of them as we come into our final week. Like you said, 9 matches left, so make sure you get those scheduled, put them in the schedule, so we can get all the streams, everything set up, and then kind of really other than that, and that's all we got for tonight. Villain, anything you want to say before we go ahead and pop on out of here for the night?
The only other thing I'll say is keep an eye out in Discord sometime over the next week. Major 2 signups will be out before the start of the Major 1 bracket, so keep an eye out for Whiskey popping up in your Discord notifications for that one. And if you're not in the Discord and you're watching this, exclamation point Discord and chat. If you want any information on joining us for Major 2, you'll find it in the Discord. So yeah, besides that, I think that's all I got.
Alrighty, thank you everybody for joining us here tonight on episode 2. Little quick little episode this week. Not that much going on with the holidays and stuff. So make sure you guys tune in the matches this week, and then yeah, hopefully we'll catch you guys here soon on the channel. Hope you guys have a very great weekend. Stay safe, and yeah, hope everybody got what they wanted for Christmas outside of Jack and Mike. Hopefully nothing but coal came to your house from Mr. Santa Claus.
Yeah, thanks everybody for popping in. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas, and hope to see you in the stream for our last week of matches here.
Alrighty, everybody. 3, 2, 1. Hit it with the outro. Bye.